What's up, BookTube? It's Leah Cooper, and today I'm bringing you a tag video. What? I haven't done one of these in forever, but I was recently tagged by Kelsey over at the Fancy Hat Lady Reads to do the library lovers tag, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I will leave a link to Kelsey's video down below, as well as a link to the original tag creators video and the questions. And anyone I tag, I don't know. I probably won't tag anyone because I'm not active enough to know who to tag. If you're watching this and you like these questions or they sound interesting, do the tag, let me know you've done it, and I'll go watch it. Okay? Cool. So, from the title of this tag, I'm going to guess that these questions are about libraries. Let's get started. We know I have a library addiction that I am staunchly trying to suppress so that I actually read things that I own the rest of the year, but let's go. Question number 1. How often do you visit your local library? Oh my god. Okay. So when I joined BookTube, I didn't really have any money and I was on a book buying ban, and I aggressively started going into the library, which is great and I highly recommend it. I'm only putting myself on a library ban for the rest of this year because I own a shit ton of books that I haven't read that I need to work my way through, especially since I work at a bookstore now and my buying is out of control. But prior to getting this job at the bookstore, I had gotten better about going to the library less often, so probably only once a month. I'd go, I'd get some stuff, I'd read them, and I'd return them either the next month or 2 months down the road, depending on how long it took me to read them. But that's going in person. I had gotten it down, I think, to once a month, maybe a little bit less frequently. Because why go in person when you can check out from Overdrive? So I still use my library for audiobooks because it's an amazing resource, and audiobooks are too expensive now. I'm not going to deal with the hassle because also I'd have to store all the data. Anyway, so I still use it for audiobooks, and I probably listen to 2 audiobooks a month, maybe 3 if I'm doing a lot of baking or something in that month. Prior to getting the bookstore job, I was still using the library online to get ebooks quite frequently. I mean, there's a reason I've read 30 things from my library this year and 2 things from my physical shelves. I was getting stuff from the library, but yeah, once a month, I don't know. Not again till next year, hopefully, cross your fingers. Question number 2. Are you the type of person who checks out more books than you know you can read, or are you someone who only checks out the exact amount of books you intend on reading before they are due? Bit of both. I know that my eyes are more greedy for books than time and inclination to read will allow. I know that about myself. I've made a couple of too big library hauls, but then when I was doing that, I was also working really, really aggressively to read those things so that I didn't return anything unread unless I lost interest in reading it. I have no problem returning things to the library unread, but I do try to really go for stuff that I want to read. At my library, you check things out for 3 weeks, and then as long as there aren't any holds on them, you can keep renewing them for up to 12 weeks? 3 weeks? No, 9 weeks. I think you can renew it for a total of 9 weeks. So I usually try to get stuff read in that window. And then a couple of times I've had stuff where they had holds, so I had to return it and then check it out again. And I've done that a couple of times. In one instance, I had an audiobook. I ran out of time listening to it, and I only had 15% of it left to read. So I went to the library, got the physical copy, and finished reading the last 50 pages of it. Question number 3. How old were you when you got your first library card? It was in high school, actually. So we have a really good library system in the state of Washington, or at least in Western Washington. We have a lot of connected libraries, and the interloan system is completely free and really efficient. However, my mother was always afraid of the homeless population at the library. And so I have a couple of vague memories of going to the Olympia Library when I was really little, but then we stopped. I can't remember what all we got there. Not much. Probably I found some book with like witches in it. My mother freaked out and like stopped going. And like, yes, as a free community space, as a place where you can hang out and not have to spend any money, it is a place that attracts people who are homeless and down on their luck. Irregardless, I wasn't allowed to go back to the library, and I didn't have a library card. I finally checked one out. I finally got a library card, I think my sophomore year of high school, because I had to check books out for... No, it had to have been my... No, sophomore, probably sophomore. Because I had to check out books for class to do papers. And I think I still have... I don't have that library card. My library membership actually, like, expired. Like, it got so old I had to get a new number, I guess, this past year. Because I guess I've had it for 14 years now. But that's it. That's all. And I've only been a member of one library system, the Timberland Library System, which is the one in Western Washington. But I also, it's really all we need, because I have 3 libraries within 30 minutes of me, and they're nice libraries. Question number 4. Do you go to your library looking for a particular book, or do you check out anything that piques your interest? I almost always, actually, I put stuff on hold and then go pick it up, so that and one of the reasons for that is, we have such a good interloan that it's really efficient to put stuff on hold and wait for it all to come in. Because it probably won't be coming from my library. However, I do sometimes, if I want a book immediately, will check, because like I said, there's 3 within 30 minutes of me. I'll check and see if one of the nearby branches has it. I'll go directly there. I will occasionally let myself browse, for instance, like the new books, so like their releases from the last 6 months, and pick up stuff from that area. If it's something that I've been wanting to read or been hearing about on BookTube, that has been both really good and also has had some duds. So that's kind of, yes, I'll let myself browse, but not much. I usually just go in and I get my holds and I leave, because I know I don't read very fast, and so I can't leave with like 10 books. I won't get through them. Question number 5. Do you use your library to check out just books, or do you also check out DVDs, audiobooks, etc.? I've already mentioned I exclusively use my library to get audiobooks, and I also occasionally check out graphic novels. I don't read a ton of graphic novels, and when I do read them, I get them from my library because they're too expensive to buy. And that's it. When I was in high school, I used to use my library to check out DVDs, but that was because it was like 2005 and DVDs were really expensive, and we had dial-up internet. You know, the internet has changed, and digital media has changed, so I don't really need to get stuff from the library anymore. Question 6. From what section of your library do you check out a majority of your books? YA, middle grade, adult, nonfiction, etc. Adult, because I mostly read adult. Occasionally YA. Like when I do read YA, I check it out from the library, because I don't own any YA. And usually if I'm reading a YA title, it's because it's like a new release, and I'm certainly not going to buy them because they are such a mixed bag of quality. And so yeah, if I read YA, and if I read middle grade, because middle grade's not something I'm necessarily super interested in collecting, because my niece and nephew don't have the same reading tastes as me, so there's very little point for me reading or purchasing middle grade books, because they're just not interested in reading them. When my nephew's going into high school next year, so he doesn't need to read middle grade irregardless. But yeah, so I get those genres when I read them, definitely from my library, but because I read mostly adult books, and I read genre fiction, I read like fantasy and stuff, I get that from the library. Also, I do occasionally check out lit fic from the library, because it's not, again, something I necessarily want to own, because I don't read a ton of literary fiction, and sometimes I don't enjoy it. So it makes more sense to get it from the library to see if I like it. Question 7. This is the last question. What is your favorite part of using your local library? It's the books. It's the books and the audiobooks. It's not free. Like, yes, it's free, but it's also like something that my taxes pay for. It's an amazing community service, and I use it because it's a great community service, and I certainly don't have enough money to buy new books. So if I want to read something that's newer, the library is the only option I have, and it's an amazing one. I also really like reading on my Kindle, but ebooks published by traditional publishers are massively overpriced. And so in that regard too, and I know I'm saying that with the knowledge and the understanding that, like, it's also difficult for libraries to get ebook copies of books, which is like a whole nother topic of discussion. But I'm really grateful that they go to effort to get them so that I can read them, because I love reading on my Kindle. I love getting ebooks from my library. But yeah, I like the library for books. I like the library for, supplying me with a service that my tax dollars pay for, that I can actually get behind and support and be glad that my tax dollars pay for it. Like, there's so few of those. No, I mean, that's not true, because I like the fact that my taxes pay for roads and schools and stuff like that, other community services and food stamps and stuff like that. But, we live in kind of a dark age where our tax dollars go towards, well, as someone who grew up in like the post 9/11 era of where my tax dollars went, it's a little depressing sometimes to think about it. So like the fact that they also, like, a very tiny portion of them go to like PBS and the library is amazing. Thank you. Anyway, yeah. Okay, that's all the questions. Like I said, I will leave a bunch of links down below to other videos and Kelsey who tagged me, etc. If you love the library, if you are a library lover, consider yourself tagged. Do this, let me know. I will try to go watch it. As always, if you enjoy any of my content, be sure to hit that subscribe button. I would really love to hit 500 subscribers by the end of this year, because I think it'll be like my 3-year anniversary on BookTube this fall, like October, November. I think it's 3 years. So like 500 subscribers would be so nice, but I know it's tough to do. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.